Hi again, my name is Andy McBride, and for this career profile I actually decided to go with my intended major because I do need to get a master's for the career that I wanted. But the topic or the title of my career is Marriage and Family Counselor, and I looked up an organization, and it's the American Family Counseling Organization. It's actually awesome. If you have a minute, if you're going into counseling, I would definitely look it up. But I actually had the opportunity to contact a local counselor here within Boise. Her name is Shirley O'Neill, and she actually works just down the street from where I normally would go to the hospital or doctor, I guess. And it's just funny how things line up, and we found out we knew some mutual people, which is pretty cool, but that's besides the point. Anyways, so when I spoke with her, I had a lot of information that I got from a website as well as from her, but most of my responses here are from her, since she does have day-to-day contact with this working environment, and obviously this career since then is her lifestyle. So for the working environment, I asked about the organization, practices that were associated within it, and she said it depends on the region you're in, and it also just depends on the practice. So it could vary from anywhere from 3 to 10 doctors, and that's usually what it is within Boise. There's usually 3 to 10 therapists or counselors within that region or that practice. And she said it just varies depending on who opened the practice, how long the practice has been around, and their preferences. Generally, when you have a larger clientele, you do need to have more therapists or counselors. And for the typical work hours, we noticed for within the Boise, Meridian, Idaho region is generally it's anywhere from 8 to 7. So some will be from 9 to 6 or 9 to 6 or 8 to 5, depending on what they decided to put on. And they do some places do have on-call hours to where they have their the clients of the therapists are able to actually call them and speak with them if they need to. So kind of like a makeshift on-call hours. And as for flexibility, it depends again on each practice, but you are required to be able to communicate with your clients, to speak with them, letting them know when you're leaving, so that way if they are dependent on you or they do have something that they need, they know where you are. As well as, it's just like with any other environment, you communicate with all who are in the office, you communicate with the secretary, everyone who you were working with, to let them know you won't be there if needed. And for personal independence, she said she loves this career because she's able to be very independent within her work. Obviously, she has to stay within the legality of everything, and she's a licensed professional therapist, but you have the option to be able to speak freely to your clients and tell them what you think based on your own personal knowledge and preference. Well, you obviously leave bias out of it, but your personal knowledge that you have gained, what would you believe would help them in this situation, depending on what they're coming in for. And that's her family friendliness. She said it's very family friendly, obviously, because that's what they're all about, is family and marriage and helping individuals too as well, but it's very family oriented. And all clients' family are welcome. The counselors' families are also welcome to come in and visit, but obviously they need to be able to establish times when there's work pattern and their clients come first. But I asked her about the stressors located in their job, and she said just like you would expect with any therapist or any type of counselor, there are a lot of emotional stresses because you can actually get not emotionally attached, but you feel very empathetic towards these people when they are struggling with certain aspects. So seeing family struggles or seeing couples struggle, or even just independent clients coming in, or even dependent clients who are always constantly calling and having needs and looking for guidance, she said that can be very emotionally tolling on yourself, seeing as you do have your work life and you have your home life as well. So there's not just that one emotional stress that you're dealing with. You could have something else going on within your own home, and that can all pile up. And she said there's also mental stressors. She said you do have some times where there are unruly patients and very aggressive and confrontational situations, especially when it comes to family and marriage counseling, because there's always points where they're pointing the blame at one another. One's not willing to work or try an exercise that you were trying to have them perform. So it's really hard to be able to work with someone who's not wanting to and they're just unruly. So she said that could be very mentally draining, and stressful when you're trying to perform your job, but someone's making it very difficult too. And as for she said there's also physical stress. She said sometimes there are long hours, you work longer than what is scheduled, and sometimes you hear matters that are very either disturbing or disheartening, and they hurt you, and you lose sleep over them because either you're too empathetic, you're an emotional person, and you just feel terrible about it, and it's hard because due to the fact that you have the patient-doctor confidentiality, you're not allowed to speak about it. So generally, she said there have been times where she said she has lost sleep over matters because she doesn't know how to go about something or how to help a patient, or it's just a matter that really hit home to her, and it can happen. And let's go to benefits. Okay, so for typical benefits, she said, obviously, anywhere you go, it's going to vary within the practice, what you're going to offer, how big the practice is, and what you decide as a company to be able to put out for your therapists and counselors. So she said with her practice, she has a 401k, medical, dental, and vision benefits, and she also has health insurance that is covered. And she said it's pretty awesome. She got very lucky, but this practice has been around for a little bit, and there's a couple other doctors, so it makes it easier for them to be able to have those benefits. All right, so their common tasks, as I've said some of these before as I was explaining other aspects, but their common tasks are speaking with clients daily, so you're always constantly engaging with somebody. You are engaging with families, teens, children, couples, individuals, depending on what they need. And with this master's degree, if you decide, it depends on what focus you're going within. But she said with hers, she was able to prescribe certain medications that she can help individuals, and occasionally if she meets one-on-one with a family member or somebody that's going to be coming in as couples and they think that something would help, she is able to prescribe medications if needed. She said also a very important aspect is informing of how much the sessions are going to cost monetarily. You don't want to blindside the client, especially when they're already having a hard time. You want to make sure that they know what's going on. So that was her main point, that she said you need to make sure that they are aware of all monetary costs that will be associated with it. And the next thing that she said was also very important, all of them are obviously, but is making them feel safe and welcome within the environment, because that is a place where they're coming to console with and confide with you and be able to get instructions of how to be able to go about things, be able to get that counsel that is needed. And for educational requirements, you need a bachelor's in science and marriage and family studies with either a professional clinical focus or clinical focus, but sometimes a marriage and family studies major will just be fine. You don't really have to have a focus, but they prefer that. But within masters, you also need a master's degree either in counseling or marriage and family therapy. And you also need to eventually need to get licensed, so an LPC, so a licensed professional counselor is what you would become. And for the salary range, again, varies on where you're living at, but within the Northwest region, depending on where you're living, so Northwest is Idaho, Oregon, Washington, Utah, all that fun stuff. And within those regions, I was looking up within those 4 states, what salary starting ranges and the medians of those. So approximately the starting range for within those 4 states is about $43,000 annually, but an experienced salary range can go up to $180,000, and that's when you are obviously very experienced and have clientele and able to do that. And it just depends on your focus, where the region is, and how many clients you have. It's a variable. It depends on what you have. And so for miscellaneous information, what I thought was cool is I asked her if there was anything else she could tell me that I would want to apply to my life as I'm studying and remembering what I want to do and why I want to do it. And she smiled and she said that there's a hashtag they have on their organization page, and it says you need to understand your impact within your clients' lives. And she said you don't understand how much of an impact you have because people are coming to you in a dire situation. They need your help, and that's why they're coming to you. And you need to understand that you're going to impact their life for the good or for the better, hopefully, and be able to help influence them do what they should do and what needs to be done in your position as a counselor. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, doing this project made me even more excited for what I'm going into school for, maybe more passionate about what I'm going to do, because counseling is a very, very close place in my heart, and I've seen it impact people's lives for the better. And that is my career profile presentation. Thanks for watching.